Episode 11. Begging for Mercy. In the Fighter Level 4 speed realm, one's muscles, bones, and skin are tempered, causing one's strength to soar rapidly. The difference between the speed realm and the Gleam realm was like heaven to earth. Yet someone in the Gleam realm was able to cause a speed realm expert to vomit blood with just a single slap. Everyone found the sight unbelievable. Besides, wasn't this man the last in the sparring during the teacher qualification examination? How was he so strong?
It must just be a coincidence. Do not fear him,
Daryl howled. One of the teachers agreeing with Daryl charged over. Just like Carl, he had reached the Speed Realm Advanced stage. His muscles were just like metal tendons, and his skin like a metal plate, giving an impression of indestructibility. "You shall fall to the ground." Stepping forward, the teacher lifted his eyebrow, preparing to smack Xavier with his palm. The compression of the air resulted in explosive sonic booms. Facing the ruthless blows, Xavier remained calm. With his forefinger and middle finger together, he struck upwards at a slanted angle. The teacher, whose body was like a metal plate, felt a slight pain at his armpits before losing his vision and collapsing onto the floor.
What?
In 2 strikes, 2 Fighter Level 4 teachers were defeated. The remaining 2 teachers, including Daryl, knew that the teacher whom they had been looking down upon wasn't as simple as they thought him to be.
Let's attack together.
With a loud roar, Daryl raised his fist and charged over. However, before he made a move, Xavier suddenly appeared right before him. His left hand grabbed his face while his right hand tapped him lightly. With a pain in his abdomen, Daryl collapsed on the floor as well. The moment his body hit the floor, the last teacher also fell to the ground, convulsing from epilepsy.
How did you know all our gates of power?
With a spurt of fresh blood, Daryl stared at the man in front of him with fear. He finally understood why, even though the other party's strength didn't compare to theirs, the results ended differently than expected. Their opponent found the life force of their cultivation the moment he struck. How could he have possibly anticipated this to guard against it? All cultivators tend to have a gate of power as their weakness. The moment that the gate of power is struck, even if the person striking is a child, it becomes possible to kill that person. However, the gate of power is the core of a human. Thus, cultivators protect it carefully. Even the closest kin would not know where their family member's gate of power is. Although Xavier did not possess strong cultivation, he knew where their gates of power were, allowing him to strike at their vitals directly. How could they defend themselves against someone like that? Hearing his words of astonishment, Xavier smiled without explanation. Of course, he acquired this knowledge through the Library of Heaven's Path. Not only does the Library of Heaven's Path allow him to see through flaws in one's cultivation techniques, but he was also able to see the personal problems of the cultivator and the location of their gate of power. Knowing his opponent's gate of power and the weaknesses in their skills, even though Xavier transcended from Earth and still wasn't very familiar with the skills of this foreign world, it was still able to easily subdue the 4 of them. Since you chose to accept the bet, you all should have prepared yourself for the consequences of losing. If you had obediently allowed me to slap you, we wouldn't have had to go through so much trouble. Xavier chuckled.
Xavier, you don't need to get gleeful over it. I don't know what kind of despicable methods you use to find out where our gates of power are, but as the least experienced teacher here, you attacked other teachers in public. Just by this alone, I'm able to send a complaint letter to the Academy to have your teacher qualification revoked.
Daryl howled. There were clear levels between teachers in the Academy. Lower-level teachers making a move against higher-level teachers was against the rules. Xavier was young, and he scored 0 for his teacher qualification examination, Thus, he was considered one of the least qualified teachers in the academy. For him to wound 4 people more qualified than him, and if the academy were to be informed, there would be an uproar. His teacher qualification license being revoked was a small matter. More concerning, it would be possible for him to be directly expelled. Why? Since you can't defeat me using martial arts, you want to try to take advantage of the rules to suppress me? Despite facing such threats, Xavier didn't seem bothered. Indeed. Carl was also thinking about this. Excitement and cruelty flashed across his eyes. If you obediently kneel before us now and allow us to beat you up, perhaps when our moods lift, we won't report the incident. Otherwise, prepare to be fired. After being fired from your position, without your identity as a teacher protecting you, no one will say anything, even if you are killed. Another teacher howled. In the Olmec Kingdom, the teachers of an academy were of high social status. The moment they lost their job, their social status would also fall. Even so, the few of them would really dare to make a move to kill him. Since all of you want to deal with this using rules, all right, I will also deal with this using rules. With a tranquil gaze, Xavier walked a few steps to Daryl and said, Mr. Daryl Barton, you secretly used Master Scott Morrell's treasure to please your concubine. 3 months ago, you embezzled from the school's fund to buy a house for her. A month ago, when you broke Master James Immel's most beloved porcelain, you placed the blame on a student, causing him to be expelled. Should I recount all these matters in front of the school leaders?
You...
Daryl's eyes narrowed as his plump body twitched uncontrollably. An inconceivable fear surged through his entire body. He looked as though he had seen a ghost. He had committed all of those without leaving any trace, so no one knew. Even his colleagues, Carl and the others, weren't aware. So this man, how did he know about it? Furthermore, with such details. Mr. Carl Moser, did the female student whom you robbed of her dignity resulting in her suicide return as a vengeful spirit to look for you? A few days ago, you grew a cyst on your back. Perhaps this could be her seeking revenge. Ignoring Daryl's terrified expression, Xavier turned to look at Carl. Hearing those words, Carl hurriedly backed away as his face drained of color. 3 years ago, he was enchanted by a beautiful female student, and he humiliated her, causing her to commit suicide from the shame. This incident was very covert and, except for him, no one knew about it. Due to his conscience, throughout the 3 years he often dreamed of the student he violated coming to reap his life as a vengeful spirit. Furthermore, half a month ago, a giant cyst in the shape of a human palm grew on his back, scaring him out of his wits. After hearing Xavier recount this event with great details, his entire body trembled uncontrollably. His knees lost their strength and he knelt on the floor. A sudden pungent smell wafted around the room. To think a fighter level 4 advanced stage expert would ever be frightened to the point of peeing on himself in public. Mr. Sam Watkins, you stole your good brother's business and even poisoned him to death with toxic wine. Although this incident was inconclusive back then, if rumors were to spread now, do you really think that you could continue being a teacher? Mr. Ben Pittman, there aren't any major flaws in your actions. However, due to your interest in antiques, you have accepted many gifts from the students. If I'm not mistaken, the ancient jade ring you wear was a gift from when a student had requested something from you. As for what the request was and who the student is, do you still need me to go into details? He looked at the 2 remaining teachers. You are a devil. You aren't human. The remaining 2 teachers were frightened out of their wits. This time, their stares were full of fear. Although they might not have been impeccable, they were confident that no outsider would know of the things they had done. Yet, how could this man be so aware of their actions as if he had been there? When he defeated them with the use of his skills, they had only felt ashamed, not fearful. However, when he revealed all of their secrets, they were truly terrified. It is as though the layers of clothes they were wearing were instantly ripped to shreds, leaving them nude in front of everyone else. They were already imagining that when the information leaked out. Whether or not they could remain as teachers was already a small concern. In the worst-case scenario, they could be sent to the teacher court and be killed on the spot.
We were wrong. Mr. Xavier Matthews, as a great man, don't bear grudges against minor figures like us. Please, spare us.
Trembling, they begged for mercy. I am too lazy to be bothered with what you all did in the past. Just stop pissing me off in the future. Also, if you all continue committing more vile actions, I won't mind interfering to ensure that you receive punishments appropriate for your crimes. Xavier waved his hand in disdain. In reality, if these other teachers hadn't gotten on Xavier's nerves, he probably wouldn't have been bothered by them. The Library of Heaven's Path was able to peer into everyone's flaws. This includes personality and past actions. But even so, this is only a small portion of the entire book. However, he wasn't the savior of the world. No matter what anyone did in the past or will do in the future, as long as they didn't cross his path, he wouldn't be concerned with them. What these other teachers should have never done was cause trouble for him. Since you made things difficult for me, I will show you what death looks like, so that you would never dare to think of doing this again.
We don't dare. We will never dare to again.
Mr. Xavier Matthews, these are the identity tokens that you wanted. Take as many as you want to.
Hearing that he would not expose their past actions, Daryl and the others heaved sighs of relief. Episode 12. Emperor Blood.